Hello there, welcome back to WION The World is One. We are glad you're watching. Happy Diwali. Time now for Race to Power, American Joker. Donald Trump's tariff war is making fresh waves after the US president reiterated possibly high tariffs on India, which are conditional to the purchase of Russian oil. On board Air Force One, Trump told journalists that India's Prime Minister agreed to stop purchasing Russian oil. But in the event New Delhi does not halt the purchase, Washington will levy high tariffs.
I spoke with Prime Minister Modi of India, and he said he's not going to be doing the Russian oil thing, so that's it.
But why would India say that they're not going to do it?
I don't know, but if they want to say that, then they'll just continue to pay massive tariffs, and they don't want to do that.
The latest remark comes after Trump had earlier said that he spoke to Indian Prime Minister Modi on the matter, but India's foreign minister rejected any such phone conversation between the two leaders. Trump's remarks come against the backdrop of a 50% tariff on Indian goods. The US argues that oil revenues fund Russia's war in Ukraine, while India maintains its import policy is guided purely by national and consumer interests. India's energy choices now sit at the heart of its trade negotiations with the United States. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal said talks are progressing in a cordial atmosphere, though no deadline has been set for a deal. The US President also reiterated his claim that tariffs were used as a negotiating condition to supposedly halt hostilities between India and Pakistan. Trump made this claim during an interview with Fox News. This is a claim New Delhi has repeatedly denied. Despite this, Trump has repeatedly pushed the narrative that trade and tariffs were instrumental to the US or for the US in preventing the conflicts. The Trump administration even repeated the claim in court. In a filing to a New York federal court, the administration claimed that trade access was used as an incentive to avert a full-scale war between India and Pakistan. Notably, the legality of Trump's tariff will come under scrutiny in the Supreme Court next month. The hearing is scheduled for November 5th. Ahead of this, Trump and his other cabinet members have framed the tariff case in apocalyptic terms, saying it would destroy the United States if the court strikes down the administration's tariffs. Mr. Richard William Painter is an American lawyer and professor at University of Minnesota Law School. He's now joining us live from this for this broadcast. Welcome, Mr. Painter. How long do you think Trump is going to rally this tariff call and tariff narrative, given that he's arm twisting, he's coercing, he's even threatening governments, including India?
Well, I don't think this is a very good long-term strategy for the United States. India is the largest democracy in the world. The United States is the oldest democracy in the world. Right now, we have a larger economy than India, but India's economic growth has been phenomenal over the past decade, and India is emerging as an economic superpower. And the United States and India should be aligned. We have common interests in fighting totalitarianism around the world and promoting economic liberty. Reforms are surely needed in the economy of both the United States and India, but a tariff war is really going to be very, very, very harmful. We'd prefer, of course, that India not import Russian oil until Russia can be persuaded to live peacefully with its neighbors, including Ukraine. But we have no reason, no economic reason or political reason, national security reason to engage in a tariff war with one of our closest friends and allies. India is a great country. President Bush, who I worked for in the White House, reached out to India to try to improve ties. And we need to continue to do that rather than get ourselves into a trade war.
Mr. Painter, India last week said it is broad-basing and diversifying its sourcing of energy to meet market conditions. What do you think will be the repercussions, if at all, India stops purchasing Russian oil?
Well, I know that India, like every other country, needs to be have a reliable source of energy. We do in the United States, and that's why we have worked very hard to become energy independent over the past few decades. And India should pursue the same path as best as possible, and the United States should do everything to assist India with meeting energy needs. Once again, India is a democracy, a close friend of the United States, and we want to keep this relationship productive and not have India or any other country reliant on importation of oil from Russia, dependent on any totalitarian regime to meet energy needs. But we need to work together on this and not be threatening each other with tariffs. It's just going to be very, very counterproductive and could destroy the economy of the United States as well as that of India.
Mr. William Painter, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Well, thank you for having me.
The U.S. government shutdown has entered its fourth week, but the administration and opposition are blaming each other while American citizens remain at the receiving end of financial trouble. Congressional lawmakers from Republican and Democrat camps are accusing each other of halting the country and not negotiating on the stopgap bill that could reopen the government.
No, it is not. But I refuse to allow us to come back and engage in anything until the government's reopened when the Democrats do the right thing for the people. They're playing politics, and we have to use every ounce of leverage we have to make sure they do the right thing.
The Blue Camp maintains that Republican lawmakers are not coming to the negotiating table, effectively blaming the administration itself for suspending a functioning government.
We have repeatedly and publicly and privately made clear to our colleagues on the other side of the aisle that we will sit down with them anytime, any place, with anyone, either at the Capitol or back at the Oval Office, to reopen the government, find a bipartisan path toward enacting a spending agreement that actually improves the quality of life of the American people, while at the same time decisively addressing the Republican health care crisis that's devastating people throughout the country.
At the center of this tussle are health care subsidies for thousands of low-income Americans, which many stand to lose under the Trump administration's budget framework and policy overhaul. Amid the ongoing shutdown and persisting partisan standoff, White House will reportedly freeze infrastructure projects worth $11 billion across Democrat-run states. The deadlock between Republicans and the Democrats is persisting in America, and this is the fourth week of the government shutdown. The Blue Camp maintains that the Republican lawmakers are not coming to the negotiating table, effectively blaming the administration itself for suspending a functioning government. They actually say that they've held conversations publicly, they've held conversations privately, and there's still a stalemate on the health issue in America, and they still blame the Republicans, that is the Democrats, are still blaming the Republicans of shutting out or shutting down the government, and this is their problem. That's what they say. So amid the ongoing shutdown and persisting partisan standoff, White House will reportedly freeze infrastructural projects which are worth $11 billion across Democrat-run states. And this is an ongoing problem in America. Our correspondent Susan Teherani is now joining us live from New York. Let's talk to our correspondent Susan. Susan, this is a persisting problem. It's the fourth week of the government shutdown. Blame game is still rife between the Democrats and the Republicans. What's the way forward? What are other lawmakers saying about this deadlock?
So really it falls along party lines, except for a number of Democrats who voted with Republicans last week to keep the government open as part of a continuing resolution until negotiations between Democrats and Republicans try to find a resolution to that. But the majority of Democrats say that they won't even temporarily keep the government open because they think that that will take away from the momentum of negotiations, which is for the most part on subsidies regarding Obamacare, health care, and spending cuts as well. So really a deadlock in Washington, and many analysts predict that it's going to go all the way to November 1st. But what's interesting is, despite the fact that the Democrats aren't coming to the table and the Republicans seem to be having the upper hand, recent poll shows that the majority of the American people are blaming Republicans, being the party in power, for the continuing government shutdown.
Susan Tehran, it's good to see you. Thank you very much for talking to us today. We'll have to leave it there, and happy Diwali.
Oh, okay.
Now, in a sharp escalation of tensions, U.S. President Donald Trump has declared plans to increase tariffs on Colombia and halt all financial support to the South American nation. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force One, Trump stated that all U.S. funding to Colombia will be cut off, though he did not specify which funds were being referred to. While Colombia has historically been one of the top recipients of U.S. aid in the Western Hemisphere, that assistance was significantly reduced early this year following the closure of U.S. aid operations.
They are a drug manufacturing machine, Colombia, and we're not going to be part of it. So we're going to drop all money that we're giving to them. It has nothing to do with them stopping drug production. And you look at the fields are loaded up with drugs, and they refine the drugs, and they make tremendous amounts of cocaine, and they send it all over the world, and they destroy families. No, Colombia is out of control, and now they have the worst president they've ever had. He's a lunatic who's got a lot of problems, mental problems.
At present, Colombian imports to the U.S. face a 10% tariff, the standard rate applied to several countries under Trump's trade policies. However, the president indicated that a new tariff rate will be revealed. President Trump has lashed out at Colombian President Gustavo Petro, labeling him an illegal drug dealer and leader. President Petro quickly hit back on social media, saying Trump was misled and does not understand the concept of humanity. Colombia is the world's largest exporter of cocaine. Last year, Petro pledged to tame coca-growing regions in Colombia with massive social and military intervention, but the strategy has brought little success so far. In September, Trump designated countries such as Afghanistan, Bolivia, Myanmar, Colombia, and Venezuela among those the U.S. believes to have failed in upholding counter-narcotics agreements during the past year. Relations between Bogota and Washington have frayed since Trump returned to the office in January this year. Last month, the United States revoked the Colombian president's visa after he joined a pro-Palestinian demonstration in New York and urged U.S. soldiers to disobey Trump's orders. Japan will make history with its first woman prime minister. The country reaches a milestone moment in politics after ruling LDP signed an 11th-hour coalition deal. Earlier in the day, LDP and Japan Innovation Party came to an agreement just days after the ruling party's coalition of 26 years with Komeito fell apart due to LDP's decision to choose Sanae Takaichi as the next leader. The hardline conservative leader thanked opposition party JIP for supporting the ruling party.
Japan currently finds itself in a deeply challenging global environment, and the domestic situation is also severe. In such circumstances, I believe it of the highest importance that we deliver stable governance for the benefit of the nation and the people.
Along with the JIP, ruling LDP now has a total of 231 seats in Parliament's lower house. The newly formed alliance is 2 seats short of a clear majority, but Takaichi is expected to clear Tuesday's vote in Parliament.
Japan currently finds itself in a deeply challenging global environment, and the domestic situation is also severe. In such circumstances, I believe it of the highest importance that we deliver stable governance for the benefit of the nation and the people.
Takaichi is slated to become Japan's fifth prime minister in 5 years, signaling a long-drawn political instability in the country. Islamabad High Court has cleared the way for Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister Sohail Afridi to meet Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf founder Imran Khan at the Adiala jail. The court has overruled registrar's objections and issued notices to the Adiala jail superintendent as well as others who were named on the chief minister's petition. Afridi had filed a plea on 2 days after he was sworn in as the chief minister of the province. He had gone to the Adiala jail where Imran Khan has been imprisoned since September 2023. However, he was denied the meeting with the former Pakistan Prime Minister. He had then filed a plea with the Islamabad High Court. However, the registrar's office had objected to the maintainability of the plea, citing multiple procedural issues. The court's latest ruling now allows the case to proceed, paving the way for Afridi's requested meeting with the jailed PTI leader. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister has stated that he would announce his cabinet and make key policy decisions only after consulting with Imran Khan. The mandate for Bolivia's presidential runoff election is out. Center-right Senator Rodrigo Paz has won a clear mandate, defeating his opponent Jorge Quiroga after the same party's leader in power since 2006. Political suns have shifted in the South American country. 97% of the polls have been counted, giving Paz a clear victory. The centrist leader has won 54% of the votes. His political rival, Quiroga, has secured 45%. The 58-year-old senator's win marks a historic shift for Bolivia, which has been governed by movement to socialism for 19 consecutive years.
Starting November 8th, Bolivia will no longer face fuel shortages. With the support of partner nations we've engaged, every step we've taken has been in service of the Bolivian people. Our goal is to establish a stable government and begin the transformative changes that lie ahead.
Supporters of Bolivia's new president-elect rejoice in victory, with many voicing hope for change in the country as the country scrambles under its worst economic crisis.
Bolivia is the most tender country in South America, and Mr. Rodrigo Paz has understood this, and today the people have decided that he is the president.
With hope after 20 years under a mass regime, our country is born again, reborn for a good future, for a new change and a future for our children, for young people, and for those women who had lost hope. For professional women and mothers who had lost faith that their children would ever have opportunities.
Kenya's longtime opposition leader and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga was laid to rest at his ancestral home after a state funeral service attended by thousands in Kenya. The burial was a small private ceremony. Take a look. Protests are erupting across Nigeria as people are demanding the release of detained Biafran separatist leader Nnamdi Kanu. Crowds are gathering en masse in the heart of the capital city, Abuja, with activist Omoyele Sowore leading the march. Furious protesters clashed with police as security forces fired tear gas to disperse crowds. Despite a judicial order, organizers stuck to their original plan to hold the gathering, with chants of "Free Nnamdi Kanu" echoing through the streets. Although a court acquitted Kanu in 2022, authorities refused to release him. Kanu has been in detention since 2021 on charges of terrorism. Our correspondent Louisa Olaniyi reports from Lagos.
October 20, 5 years after the #EndSARS protest shook Nigeria, the Lekki Tollgate massacre remains a painful memory, with justice still elusive for victims of police brutality. Some Nigerians, still in the course of fighting perceived injustices, was led by activist Omoyele Sowore today in Abuja in protest for the release of IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu, detained since 2021 for terrorism charges. Police responded with tear gas and live bullets, arresting Kanu's brother and lawyer. Now, with recurrent chaos during protest, observers are urging security agencies to adopt de-escalation tactics and respect human rights to break the cycle of repression and uphold democratic values.
In a crucial policy change, Tufan Erhaman, a moderate candidate from the Republican Turkish Party, has won the Turkish Cypriot presidential election, defeating incumbent President Ersin Tatar. Erhaman sailed to victory with 62.8% of the vote from just over 218,000 registered votes and voters, while Tatar picked up only 35.8% of the votes. Now, what makes this victory pivotal is that it potentially paves the way for reviving stalled United Nations brokered talks aimed at reunifying Cyprus, which has been stalled since 2017. Analysts describe the electoral win as a potential game changer on an island that has been ethnically split for more than 50 years between Greeks in the internationally recognized south and Turks in the north. After the win, Erhaman emphasized that social peace and security will be their primary concern.
Let no one have the slightest concern. All foreign policy issues will, of course, be addressed and conducted in consultation with the Republic of Turkey. Social peace and security will remain our primary concern. These will, of course, be among our most pressing concerns.
President Tatar, who was backed by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, had advocated for two-state solution to the Cyprus problem during his 5-year term. However, Erdogan congratulated Erhaman on his victory, praising the vote as a reflection of the democratic maturity of Turkish Cypriots. Cyprus has been divided since 1974, when a coup in the south sought to unite the island with Greece. In response, Turkish Cypriots declared independence in 1983, 9 years after Turkey's military intervention that followed a brief Greek-backed coup that posed a threat to the island's Turkish community. Although Cyprus joined the European Union in 2004, only the Greek Cypriot South, which is home to the internationally recognized government, enjoys full benefits of EU membership. And that's the latest on this edition of Race to Power on WION The World is One. Thank you for watching.
The Earth is sending distress signals. Wildfires, droughts, and melting glaciers. Can we reverse the damage? Explore the harrowing effects of climate change. It's a wake-up call. Global emergency. Climate tracker on WION World is One.
From the bustling trading floors of Wall Street to the vibrant exchanges of Asian stock markets, WION breaks it down for you to make sense of what's happening, as we reveal the key factors behind events, strategic battles, and the game-changing business decisions that shape the world. We bring you all of this and more on World Business Watch.
Over. Okay, you understand that? This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
The best day of my life.
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace for their great contribution to this effort.
Where darkness hides behind every corner. Where the truth is stranger than fiction. A show that dives deep into the stories which shock and mystify. Unsolved murders. Psychopaths who defy explanation. International